Evening, fret friends. Got what I'm hoping is going to be a nice simple one in this afternoon. I'm just going to do this one before I knock off tonight. It's actually not afternoon, it's late, or it's early evening. It's Gibson Les Paul, looks like a 2015 model. I don't know what model it is, but it's a bolt-on neck, so I imagine it's one of the special types. It does say on the truss rod cover Les Paul 100, but for all intents and purposes, as far as I'm concerned, it's a Les Paul, one of the Les Paul Specials. Not an expensive guitar, it's just coming for a setup. The action is really high, too much relief in the neck there, so it's going to need a setup. I don't know if it needs any fretwork, we're going to have a look. I'm going to tune it in and plug it in as it is before I start working on it and see what I think. Then I'm going to check the frets, see what I think to the frets, and I will come back and let you know what I'm going to do first and foremost is cut the ends off these strings. I didn't know anybody strung a guitar like this anymore. Honestly, seriously. Like that there. Bear with me, I'm going to snip these off. Crikey me. Thought I'd happened to 1970s copy of Mayfair there. The older guys will know what I'm talking about with that. Good grief. Get them off and out of the way. String ends. Why did I leave them on? Yeah, like I say, I'm just going to tune it in, plug it in, play it, see what I think. Find out if there's any fretboard anywhere. Whether we'll get the strings off, we'll come back, we'll check the frets, check the electrics while we're plugged in, check the frets, and I will come back and let you know. Oh, first time wearing today, by the way. My fret friend sweatshirt, my wife bought this for my birthday in June. And yeah, it is cold enough today to wear it. We are the 30th of August, year of our Lord 2021. A little bit of a chill in the air. Come back summer, all is forgiven. Back soon. Okay, fret friends, so I've got the guitar plugged in. I've tried to set the intonation, it's not having it. We don't have enough adjustment on the saddles. Even with some of them reversed, we don't have enough adjustment. So again, that's why I can tell it's one of these Les Paul Specials, Epiphone Les Paul Special. They are nothing much, it's a bolt-on neck. I'm going to turn the rest of the saddles around, or at least the B and the G around, so we can hopefully get enough adjustment to get the intonation right on those two strings. The action is as low as we can get it, and we've got too much height at the 12th fret, so I'm going to have to shim the neck. Like I say, you can tell it's a special because it's got a bolt-on neck. Let's be honest about what this guitar is. I think they're £120 brand new when they came out. Standard Asian-made tuners, nothing special again. On your Korean ones, you've got Grovers for starters. So, not even check the frets yet. This pickup is a lot quieter than this pickup. There's hardly any adjustment at all on this pot, which is your bridge volume. I'm hoping it's just a knackered pot. But failing that, it could be a dodgy pickup, I don't know. So I'm going to have the wires off, we're going to check the coils and measure the pickup, make sure that's right. If that's alright, I'm assuming it's probably this pot is going to need replacing. And I've not checked the frets yet, because obviously I've had the strings on and all that, I've just been playing it. So, you know, it's looking like it's not going to be an easy fix. What I am going to do though, on camera right now though, is take the strings off. I can alter the action by shimming the neck, so that's not a problem. The intonation, hopefully, the lower I could not alter that anymore. It will not move further back, and it already has turned round, so we're going to have to put up with that. It's a problem with these cheaper guitars, you don't get hardly any adjustment at all on the saddles. So I'm going to whiz the strings off, I'm going to bin them. This tune is rubbish. And we're going to get the neck as straight as we can. There's not a lot of adjustment on the truss rod either. I mean, it's quite remarkable we could put these guitars out for 120 quid in the first place. But, you know, what are you going to get for 120 quid back then when these were made? They are what we would call a beginner guitar, to just see if you're going to get into it and you're going to do anything about it. So let's just whip these strings off. It's not fanny about, just get them straight off. Again, this is your problem. These bridges, these are bridges here. There's hardly any adjustment there at all. These two facing the opposite way, I did turn him around so I can get more adjustment backwards. The low E is back as far as it will go. Can't adjust that anymore. So we're just going to do his best and get as close as we can. The thing is, you're not going to be playing this guitar in a professional capacity by a long stretch. So is your intonation that important? Well, no, probably not. But let's get it as close as we can, shall we? Let's do the job right. So these strings in the bin. Long time since I've had a guitar of this nature in. You know, but they all get treated the same. They all get the same level of setup. They all get the same amount of care and attention, and we do the very best we can. It'd just be a shame if we need to do any fretwork on this, because I don't like doing fretwork on guitars that are not really worth. 3 times I've stabbed my fucking finger on these strings. 4. I'm going to hold my breath a minute and just count to 10 because I've stabbed myself. Look at this. 4 fucking times. Because people learn how to string the guitars proper. That's got an old string there from a time before the looks on it. So now my fingers are sore. I'm going to make sure I include swearing when I put the description. Load this one up to YouTube. Yeah, there's an old string in there, look, from the last fucking time. Oh, just hold your breath, mate. Right. I've lost my little thing to get that out. I'll find that in a minute. So strings are off. We're going to do a couple of little things on camera. Fuck's sake. Fingers really hurt. I don't normally swear on videos, but because I've already sworn on this, I'm going to let loose. That fucking hurts. So we're going to tighten these up. Be surprised how many guitars come in with these loose. Don't need to over tighten these, just need to nip them up. I've got a little tool for getting strings, you know, strings that are snapped in the hole. That's been left in since it's restring. I mean, come on, what are you doing to me here, guys? I've got a little, like a solder type tool I'll be able to get in there and oil that out, but I don't know where it is at the moment. See what I have knocking around. It's like a braggle. I want to do it because when they fall out, you know, it drops down here. God, that should be here, unless I've used it for, I don't know what. Let's see if I can get a nail cutter on there. I'll be looking for this particular set. See if I can get a nail cutter on there and just get in and snip that off. Got it. Look at that. That piece hanging in there, look, from the last string change. Stabbed me about 4 times. Look at this, blood everywhere. Bastards. Okay, so leaving the nut on, leave it intact because we're not changing it. Plastic nut, by the way. Again, that's why I know it's a special. I don't know why they call them special. It makes people think they're better than they are. They're not better than you think they are, these guitars. Not better than anything. It's a bog standard, cheap as you like guitar. Not even up to Squire affinity level. So let's just have a look at the truss rod. We're gonna, still got relief in there. Got a load of relief in there with the truss rod loose. It should be straight with the truss rod loose. So to get the neck straight, I'm going to get a real good turn on the truss rod there, which I have done. We begin to lose a lot, as you can see, so I can't do a lot more tonight. So that neck's dead straight, or straight as we're going to get it. So let's get a fret rocker on there, see what the frets are like, because this could be good or bad news. It'd be really bad news if it needs a fret level, because the guitar's not worth a fret level. Well, it is, just, but fret level's going to cost more than the guitar's worth. So totally surprised me, guitar. And it's surprised me so far that we haven't got a high fret. There's one. Let's keep it under 5. 1 high fret so far, which is astounding. 2, 3, 3 high frets on a £120 guitar. I have guitars in here worth 4. I have guitars in here worth £5,000 and they've got more high frets than these on them. This has got 4 high frets, so we're going to get this in an intensive setup. It's going to need an intensive setup. I believe I'm still charging 80 quid. Is it 80 quid or 85 quid for an intensive setup now? I'm just going to have a look at my prices here. I think it's 80 quid. So bear with me. I think it's 80 quid. Services, there you go. Why do I want to edit the page? Idiot. I think it's 80 quid. Anyway, intensive setup. Could have tested the pickup as well, test the electrics. The electrics are working fine when I just had it plugged in. Bar, this pickup is really quiet. It's half the volume of that one, which certainly is not right. I'm thinking there's going to be a problem with the pot. What I am going to do is I'm going to measure the pickup. I'm going to do it right now. I'll do it over the next, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm going to pack in a minute. It is, I don't know what time it is, but my wife's back at work tomorrow. She's had 6 weeks off. She's a school teacher, my wife. She's going back to school tomorrow. We had a great 6 weeks. It's 7:10. I'm going to spend this last evening with my gorgeous wife. And I will come back and we'll have another look at this again tomorrow. Okay guys, we're just going to check the frets again. We have the neck set dead straight. Or well, as straight as it will go. It's very rare you get a neck dead straight exactly, but we get as close as we can. So we're straight at that end, we're straight at that end, we're straight at this end all the way down to about here. There's a little bit of a gap underneath there. So the truss rod's not going to overturn anything because the relief works from there to there. So it's just that the neck is not straight at this end. So we get it as straight as we can, which we have done. I'm going to take a fret rocker. I'm going to mark up these 5 frets that need work, or 4 frets I believe it is. If we find them. Remarkable, isn't it, that a £100 guitar and the frets are more or less level on the whole length by a couple of frets. I think guitars in here worth 4, 5, 6 grand and the frets are all over the place. So I'm just going to mark up where the frets need work. Yeah, I've had really expensive guitars in here. I've had guitars directly from Kalamazoo in this room and they needed fret work. That's the second one. I worked for a guy. I was in his in-house guitar tech. He was a heritage guitar importer. And it's phenomenal how many of those guitars came over from Kalamazoo needed work. But anyway, so I've already got 3, 4 high frets. What I'm going to do with these is, with the high, I'm going to tap them down with a mallet. Just try and get up to seat a little bit better. Because we've already got 5 there, and I'm only, once you get more than 5, I charge for a full fret level. I'm not going to do it on this guitar because fret level is going to cost you more than the guitar's worth. So I'm going to get it all in on an intensive setup, which I believe, according to my prices, is £80. And for that, we get up to 5 frets levelled and crowned. All the electrics will be checked and resoldered. So we get an intensive setup. Then you get the same as a player setup, which is everything done. Your nut slots deepened. So we've got 6 frets on here. You get your nut slots deepened, your nut reshaped, you get your frets polished, your fingerboard cleaned. You get a complete setup, which is bridge, action, intonation, relief, pickup heights, all the electrics checked. We still do have a very quiet bridge pickup. I think it's just the pickup. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just think it's the way it is. I'm going to lower the neck pickup right in to see if that balances out any better, because I can't see anything wrong with the pickup, can't see anything wrong with the pot. I will, however, measure the pickup shortly. So we've got here, back to the frets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 high frets. Just remove the truss rod adjuster there. Hopefully I can show you. If I move that there, you might just see the ones with the black pen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 high frets. Let's just stick this back on there. I'll put it back in the same place. I can always tell by where my fingers are. Okay, it's a bit, and it's that way. There you go. So just check these 6 again. Really high, a little high, tiny bit high, medium high, medium high, very high. So there you go, that's the 6 we need to work on. So what I'm going to do is, like I say, just going to get a mallet, my fretting hammer, we're just going to tap the frets in that have high spots. And we're going to check them again. Just see if they're just sitting a little bit high. That one is now fine. Check one back just to make sure. That one's still high, so we can rub. Oh, it's got some permanent ink on there, we'll get that off in a bit. That's still high. That's fine. That one's, oh, that's still high there. Just keep going with that one because we've. Sometimes they're just not seated right. Still a little bit high, so still needs a little bit of work, still a little bit high there. And this one, that's now seated correctly, but it's high on this side now. So where it's hammered down one side, it's popped up the other. Just keep going with it. Seems fine now, and the one at this end, still high. So we've still got to work on 4 of them. But I'm happy that all the frets are nicely seated. So I'm going to crack on, get these levelled. I'll do one right here, right now, just to show I'm doing it. And once that's done, I'll do all the rest of them off camera. So a levelling file and a crowning file, or 2 crowning files. So for levelling these, I'm going to be spot levelling. That means I'm not going to level the whole lot down that way. I'm going to do each fret going that way, just going across one fret. I'm going to do what you call a spot level. This one is still a little bit high, so we're going to work on this one first. I'm going to take my flat Swiss file made by Valor, a Swiss made file. Beautiful piece of kit. It's a number 4 cut file. It's very smooth, but it's very short. I love this file. I've had it a number of years, and it's perfect for this job. And all we're going to do is spot level. I'm just going to let the file find the radius itself, and we're just going to remove a little bit just from this side. It's still high, so we clean the file and we go again. I'm not removing a lot of material, and I'm just finding the radius, letting the file find the radius. Don't have to remove a lot of material, because once it's level, it's here. We don't take too much off, and the next 2 either side become high. So that's perfect. There you go. Once that's done, we're going to go to our crowning files. You know what these are. Stumac Z file. We're going to rebuild. We're flat on the top. We're going to rebuild that crown. So I'm going to check the fret I've just done. Flip it 180, which does 2 different cuts. It does a different cut on each side. What it doesn't do, it does not touch the top of the fret. It means we can just rebuild that crown without removing any height. Then finally, a profiling file again, another diamond file, and this will basically rebuild that crown properly, remove any inconsistencies or any burrs. And that is 1 fret levelled and recrowned. Now it needs to be polished, but we're going to be polishing all of them anyway. We're going to check the height, it's absolutely fine. We're going to go 1 back just to make sure it's not altered its relationship with any frets on the other side. It hasn't, so we've spot levelled that one perfectly. I'm going to take a cloth, I'm going to clean each file. I meant to say, yeah, this is a diamond file. It's got a long shallow cut and a short sharp cut, and you turn it over 180 degrees, it's got the complete opposite. So it will cut the sides at 2 different angles, that's why you turn it 180 degrees, but it will not cut the top. And this one will just do a perfect crown. This is a gift from Nigel Roberts a few years ago. Great file, great piece of kit. So that's one done. We have 5 to do. I did tap these in with a hammer, but it's still quite high. I'm going to give this one another go, just so you can get it to seat a little bit better. So with clean files, we check again, still high, using the flat file, doing exactly the same as before, but I'm working on the far side now, closest to you, whereas on the last one I used on the near side, closest to me. So just following the radius, nice and smooth. I know I really need to work on the last 15 millimeters. Seems pretty good. Check one back, check one forward, check again. Still a little bit high, so a little bit more. And that seems pretty good. That seems perfect. Go back one, go forward one, and that's good. So same again with this file, but concentrating on the side closest to you now. Flip 180. Then with the other file, beautifully recrowned. Check again. Fret is level, it's okay behind, okay in front, and that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4 more to do. I'm going to crack on, get the rest of them done off camera, and I'll bring you back in a short while. So a little bonus piece now. I've moved the camera back. This is the last fret. I've just levelled the last fret there. Just going flat, but to drop the 3-way in there just so I can get the file in. So I've levelled it. I'm just going to show you how I crown. I know it's from distance, but you'll get an idea. So I'm going to take the Z file. It's just a matter of going across the whole fret. You don't want to be digging the other side of the guitar, so get your hand there. Flip it 180 degrees. That's going to do the opposite cut on each side. So each side of the fret has had 2 cuts, a shallow then a sharp cut, and we've basically rebuilt that crown, and this one is going to finish it off. Just smooth everything off, following the radius, and again this side, and that's it. And we're going to check this one again, just check, and there you go, not rocking, perfectly level. So now we can go across all of the frets. All of them are level. We've not had to remove a nut because we've not had to level the whole lot. We've just levelled the 6 that needed doing, spot levelled. A couple more things I'm going to do in a minute. I'm going to scrape the fingerboard. Just get rid of all the dead skin and the sweat and everything on there. Just bear with me a second, I've got to shut the door. My wife was coming downstairs, so just have to go close the workshop door. So just checking the frets. These are the ones I've worked on the most in this area, and the frets are not now absolutely level along the whole length of the guitar or the whole length of the neck, which is fabulous. Now the ones I've levelled are a little bit dull. We're going to polish them up shortly. We're going to treat the fingerboard with some mineral oil. Then we're going to go and have a look and see if we can find out what's wrong with that pickup. Because the pots and everything in there look absolutely fine. It might just be a quiet pickup. Might just be one of those things where you just have to turn your volume up a little bit. I'm going to drop that pickup in and bring this one up slightly, see if that makes a big enough difference. But then again, that said, I doubt it is going to. But where we're at now is, I'm going to grab a Stanley blade, just give your fingerboard a little bit of a scrape, because there will be a lot of dead skin on there. I'm going to do that before we treat it. I know Clive Burnage always used to scrape fingerboards on any Epiphones he had in. He was a great guy. He's moved to America now, but he always worked Epiphones and he made them fantastic. And he made a fair bit of money selling Epiphones after he'd done them up, making them as good as he could actually get them. And he always scraped the fingerboard, so I've started doing it. Alright, I'm going to crack on with this. Once it's done, I'm going to give it a spray with mineral oil, you know, it's lemon oil, treat the wood, let it soak in for a few minutes, and we'll wipe it all off. And we can look at getting the fresh polished up and doing some other work. So a little bit of a tidy around the workshop, around this area, sorry, the work area. I've completely scraped the fingerboard. So we're back down to bare wood, minus the grime and the sweat and the cack. We're just going to, there's enough oil in there, just going to spray the fingerboard. And I tend to do this with my fingers nowadays. And this is mineral oil, you know it is lemon oil. It's not lemon oil, it's mineral oil. With some lemon essence in it to make it smell nice. Especially formulated for the darker woods, darker wooded fingerboards, ebony, palfaro, rosewood and derivatives of. And this will float off any crap. It will slightly nourish the wood, stop it splitting and cracking. It will split and crack over time if you don't treat it at all. How do I know this? I've seen it happen. So people who say you shouldn't put this lemon oil or this mineral oil on your guitar necks, they don't know what they're talking about. Or on your fretboard, they don't know what they're talking about. There you go, don't need to saturate it, just give it a nice coat there. We're going to leave that on 10-15 minutes, let that soak in, and then we're going to come back and we're going to get a fingerboard guard and we're going to polish up these frets. In the meantime, I'm going to cover the pickups with some Scotch 3M low tack tape, because I'll be polishing with steel wool and I don't want to get any on the pickups. So we're going to make sure we get a really good cover on there, completely sealed. And trust me, I will completely seal these over like so. And we'll go over, down, sealed there, over, down and sealed there. So we won't get any iron filings into the pickups or into the magnets. That's perfect, that. And I'll come back in a short while. So another problem with this guitar is there's a snap screw in the neck there. I found this out when I was undoing the screws at the back, and one just kept turning and turning but not moving. And so I removed the other three and I've managed to oik this one out. So what we're going to do is, looks like it's gone in at the wrong angle. I don't know how that could be, but whatever. We are going to oik this out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a vice grip or a mole grip on there. And we're just going to turn it until it comes loose. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace it. Hopefully I've got something to replace it with. I'm sure I'll have some of these knocking about somewhere. I've got some brand new Fender ones knocking about that might be too thick. But this one's had it regardless, so there you go, that's out. And there's the other end of it. There, so I'm going to see if I've got something matching. If not, I'm going to have to order something and get it in. But I'll see what I've got in my parts drawer, and hopefully we can fix that. Regarding the pickups, one being louder than the other, tested them both out of the guitar. We're both putting out the same loudness, so the problem's either the pot or it's just pickup height needs to be altered. So I'm going to lower the neck one by a substantial amount, just try and balance the volume out. I'm not going to change the pot or anything. So that's it for now. I'm just about to get the guitar back together. Hopefully I can find a screw to put in the neck, and I'm going to put a slight shim in the neck this side, just to bring the guitar, the neck back a little bit, just so we can get the action right. So we're getting to the dusty end of the day, but my wife is back at school teaching. It's her first year as a fully qualified teacher, so it gives me more time to spend in the workshop. So a couple of things I've done with this guitar since you saw it last. Put the neck back on. I've replaced the neck bolt. I've also put a tiny shim in there just to angle the neck back slightly, just to bring the I wanted the neck angling back just to get the right amount of relief and right amount of height, because with the adjusters all the way down we're still getting the strings too high, so it's made sure we can now get the right action on the guitar. Put a new set of strings on, a set of Dean Markley's signature nickel steel. I've not seen Dean Markley's for years. When I started playing guitar in 1980, whenever it was, 82, 83, Dean Markley's were the strings of choice for many people, including myself. And before we knew it, we was all using early balls. I don't know how that happened, but anyway, there you go. So where we are anyway. I've got strings on. I've not stretched them in, but I've tuned to pitch. We're going to cut the nut slots. That's what we need to do next. I'm going to grab my nut files. Now, it's a hardened plastic nut on these, I believe. I've not been asked to upgrade it, so I'm not going to. I think it's, I don't think price is as much of an issue as is would you want to spend daft money on a guitar that's only worth 100 quid, if that. Probably not, I wouldn't. So we're going to get a 1046 set of files out. These are Hosco files. Best set of nut slot files I've ever had. Made by Hosco, Japanese. I've got the 11 set. I think these cost me about £125. You've all seen them before. And they're fantastic. And they are the same gauge as the string. So what we're going to do is we're going to deepen these nut slots. Just get a feel gauge. Turn my amp off, I'm not going to be using it just yet. We're going to deepen the nut slots, and what we're going to do is I take a measurement. So once I've got the action just about right, which it is just about right, I'm going to take a feeler gauge, and I'm looking for a gap of 0.3mm on the bass side, 0.2mm on the treble side. So 0.3, and we'll have a look at this. We're really high, and that's got to be almost a millimetre. Means when you bar an F chord, an F sharp, a G, your notes are all going to be sharp, because the nut slots are just far too high. That's 0.9mm this feeler gauge. Look, it's only just buzzing. So we're going to take the 46 file, which is the same size as the string, 0.046 of an inch. Put tuner on. And we're just going to carve into this slot, keeping the file pretty much level with the neck. We can angle slightly back towards the tuner, which we do anyway, but first we're going to cut some depth in the slot. Be careful, because you don't want to go too deep, because if you do, you're going to be replacing the nut. And that's going to take time, it's going to cost money, and it's going to get on your wig. Get your feeler gauge and measure. Not with a 0.9, that'd be stupid. I don't want it 0.9, I want it 0.3. What am I thinking? Still a ways to go yet. And angle down toward the tuner on your last couple of strokes, just so it bends slightly over. And now when we finger an F or an F sharp, we're going to play an F or an F sharp. Still slightly high, but not a lot. What we also need to do is make sure we always clean the file. I will get a steel brush on this in a short while, just to clean all the teeth, all the cutters. And I think we're just about there with that one. That's looking nice. Guitar's going to play a lot better with these strings closer to the fret. That's perfect. There you go. So clean the file, move on to the next one. Stick that one away, and I'm going to do the same for all the strings, gradating down to 0.2. So we're going 0.2, 0.22, 0.24, 0.26, 0.28, 0.3. So the next file, 0.036. Really self-explanatory now. Push this one over and same again. Close, but no cigar. Clean the file. Same again. Perfect. Now we're going to change over to a 0.25 feeler gauge, and we're going to hit around about 0.26 with the 26. Now I don't have a 26 file, but I do have a 28, so it's slightly wider. That's going to be perfect. Still going to be fine for what we're doing. 2 thousandths of an inch are not going to make that much difference to anything. So we're going to take a measure, see how high we are. You can see how this is working now. Like I say, don't go too gung-ho. Keep taking a measure, because it is quite easy to remove too much material. So 0.25, I want about 0.26, so we're just going to get a quick measure there. That's just about right. That's 3 to do. So we're going to go with a 17. I don't have a 17 either, I do have a 16, so we're going to slightly flare the 16 gauge file left and right, just to slightly widen that slot. Now if this was a bone nut, I'd be, once it's all cut or slots are cut, I'd be taking the strings off and I'd be recarving the top and reshaping it, but because this is a cheap guitar, I'm not going to bother with this. So the next one we're going to need a 17. Like I say, we don't have a 17, we have a 16. So what we'll do is going to slightly different. I'm going to check the height again because I believe this file is really sharp. So I'm going to take my time with this one. So a 16. Then we're going to angle slightly and angle this way slightly. And again, just to flare that slot open a little. This looks to be pretty much bang on. No, still a little bit high. So what we're going to do is we're going to angle slightly this way, just give it one stroke down the centre, and we're going to go a couple of strokes toward the tuner. And I think that is going to get us to where we need to be. And that's looking pretty good. I'm going to swap to the 0.2 feeler gauge, and we're going to bring these down to 0.22, 0.2. So you see how it works. Find the 0.2 somewhere, there it is. I'm going to crack on, I'm going to get these done off camera, and once they're done, we're going to stretch the strings in, and we can get the guitar tuned. I'll bring you back in, we'll set the amount of relief, we'll set the height at the 12th fret, and we'll check the pickup heights and what have you, and the intonation. The real dusky end of the day, and we are all done. And I've got a few effects pedals out. I've had this guitar plugged in and tried a few different sounds of it, and I've got some fabulous pedals I bought recently. This one in particular, brand new Sovtek Big Muff Deluxe, based on the Russian Green Russian, but it's a deluxe model. It is an absolutely wonderful pedal. I think it's cost me £122 brand new, just brilliant. But back to the guitar. So let's recap what we've had done to the guitar. We came in, it needed frets, quite a few frets leveling, certainly needed a setup, the nut slots needed cutting, one of the pickups was a lot quieter than the other one. I've swapped some saddles round to get enough for the intonation. So what I've done is leveled the frets, reset the height of the pickups, turned the saddles round on the bridge, cut the nut slots, leveled some frets, polished the frets, scraped and cleaned the fingerboard, tightened every nut and bolt, set the right amount of relief in the neck, set the action at the 12th fret, redone the intonation as I mentioned before, and the guitar is as good as it is ever going to be. One other thing I did, this screw had snapped inside the guitar there, so I managed to, well, the head fell off basically. I did have to slightly force this bit to get it out. I've fixed it back up, I've replaced the screw with one of my own, so I'm going to charge a little bit extra for that. But here is the guitar all set up and ready to go. And it's as good as you're going to get one of these. I do believe it's a Les Paul Special. They are, without slagging it off, they are no great shakes, but once set up like this, they're going to be pretty decent. It sounds really nice, the pickups sound really good for what it is. It plays nice, it certainly does look the part. So all in all, a job very, very well done. Not an expensive guitar, but it has the same amount of care and attention as any other guitar that comes in here. So whether it's for a £5,000 guitar or a £50 guitar, it gets the same level of setup and the same amount of care and attention as mentioned. The pots are nothing spectacular on the volume. You get a lot of sweep all in about 20-30% of a pot, then that's it. But yeah, a lovely looking thing. Not worked on one of these for a long time. It's very odd. The last one of these I worked on belonged to a friend whose birthday it happens to be today. I've not seen him for a few years, so I hope he's doing well, and happy birthday to him. You'll know what I mean if he watches this video. But yeah, very, very nice. So all done, ready to go. The total price for all of the work done on this guitar will be £85. That's for an intensive setup and the screw replacement and repair. Yeah, very, very good. So this one is ready to go back to its owner, who is going away in 2 days, so he might be quite pleased. He might have to pick it up tomorrow, which will be better for me. But that is it. So until the next project, as always, just going to remind you of my website, fretfriend.co.uk, even better, facebook.com/ng17. That's facebook.com/NGONESEVEN. I'm Victor, I'm your fret friend. Until the next time, as always, God bless you, be good to each other. I'll see you in the next one.